A couple of nights ago, I was talking to my boyfriend about sources of dietary protein, like you do at 2 in the morning. And I had mentioned to him a couple of articles that I had read about insect protein, um, which grossed him out, as I'd imagine it would gross a lot of people out. But I am very curious about what the deal is with insect protein. So I went out and bought a couple of snack items made from insects. Um, and I'm going to try them out on camera for the very first time so y'all can get my honest reaction. First up is Don Bugito's toffee coconut Bugitos. I believe these are mealworms. Mealworms are a uh, kind of beetle larva, if I'm not mistaken. And these have been oven roasted with unsweetened coconut and sugar. So, let's see what this is all about. Smells kind of like Cracker Jacks. Oh man, they're all bunched up together. Um, so, you can see mealworms. All right, not bad, not bad. And, these are actually pretty good. But like, when I first put them in my mouth, they had this initial taste, kind of like almost like seafood or shellfish. Oh, and it's kind of there in the aftertaste too. But like the more you chew it, the more you eat it up. I mean these in particular. These are candied. Um, the more you chew them and eat them and move them around, mash them up in your mouth, they do kind of taste like Cracker Jacks. And it does kind of make sense that sort of layer of seafood because um, these are arthropods, similar to shrimp, crabs, lobster, insects are all in the arthropod family, so it would sort of make sense if they had that that layering in the tasting. But no, candied mealworms, they do taste like Cracker Jacks. Okay, so that's it for those. I've got something else here, but first let me cleanse the palate. The other item that I have here are cookies from Biddy Foods. Biddy Foods specializes in making cricket flour. The founder of Biddy Foods, she recognizes the ick factor in selling bugs as food to people. And so to remove that ick factor, she um, mashed up her crickets into a kind of flour, so you're not eating them whole like those mealworms that I just had. She mashed them up into a fine powder, and she mixed it with cassava flour and tapioca starch and coconut flour to sort of create this flour blend that's gluten free. So it's okay to eat for if you have celiac disease. Um, but she used that flour to make these chocolate cardamom cookies. So let's see what these are about. These are not chewy cookies. Um, they appear to be crunchy. So nice and sweet, not too sweet. Kind of spicy because of the cardamom, so that makes sense. But these are good. They're good. Okay, so taste-wise, I'm happy with the snack items that I bought. Um, the reason why I'm curious about all of this is because there was a report that the United Nations put out a couple of years ago saying that um, the way that we're raising meat, beef, pork, um, poultry, our methods, none of that is sustainable or scalable um, to anywhere near where we can supply the global demand for protein in the next couple of decades. By the year 2050, they said we're not going to have enough protein to feed people. So they're looking for um, easier ways to provide protein for the global population. And one of the things that they're looking into is insect protein because, you know, beef, pork, poultry, they all take up a lot of resources. They take up a lot of land, they drink a lot of water, um, and we grow a lot of food just to feed those animals. We're feeding them food that we can use to feed people. And so, they take up a lot of resources. Insects, on the other hand, they do not need nearly as much resources. So, insects may be one way to go. However, I've heard mixed things about whether or not that's actually true. Um, I've heard that it depends on what kind of food that you're feeding to your insect farms. You know, if you end up feeding the same kind of food that you feed the chickens to the crickets, maybe the trade-off isn't as good. I don't know. There's more research that's going into it. Insects are probably not going to be like the magic bullet. There probably is no magic bullet. I mean, either we're all going to be eating insects, maybe we're all going to go vegan. I don't know. The point is, our animal raising practices are not sustainable. So, you know, I was just curious. Um, these are delicious. They're a little pricey though. Like this is a bag of about a dozen cookies. It retails at about like $8, I think. They do have a lot of protein though. I think if you ate half of this bag, if you had 6 cookies, that is kind of like a meal replacement because of all the protein. So one can argue that they are a meal replacement. However, I would like to see this scaled up to the point where the pricing is more comparable to other cookies. So we shall see. But flavor-wise, very good, and I'm happy. So if you want, you can try them out yourself.